This podcast is part of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed may not represent other podcasts or affiliates of Gonna Geek. Check out more podcasts at gonnageek.com and get ready because geekiness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance level 10. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents of equal or higher security clearance.
And now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're a podcast about the television show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the general Marvel universe, including the ex-S.H.I.E.L.D. director, Fury. Today we'll be talking about episode 22, season 1, Beginning of the End. And just a reminder, you can go to our website, legendsofshield.com, find all the great ways to contact us, including Lauren's stuff that's already up there. And our voicemail line, which is, what is it, Lauren?
Our voicemail line is 844-THE-BUS-1, which is 844-843-2871.
Oh, you ladies are batting 1,000. 2 blind tosses in 2 weeks, and you got it. That's awesome. How are you guys doing this week, Haley? You excited about this week?
Pretty excited.
Yeah. Lauren?
I'm extremely excited.
Now, you get to have a little vacation this weekend, right?
Yes, I do. I'm going to visit a friend up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we are going to a con this weekend.
Ooh, cool. Are you going both days, Saturday and Sunday, or just one?
That's the plan, yeah. We're going because the husband is going to a card tournament on Saturday, so he wants to at least go to some of the cons, so we're going both days. And the complete main Firefly cast is going to be there, which is awesome. And very happily for me, Manu Bennett from Spartacus and Arrow was just added. You know, you may know him as the guy that I spent last week drooling over.
I think Haley drooled over him a little bit too.
Still cleaning up the drool, yes.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to shell out a little bit of birthday money and get a picture.
Awesome.
Try not to drool on him.
I will try my best. It will be difficult.
Or on the picture. All right. Well, hey, we actually have a great show in store for you today. We've got all the season finale episode stuff to talk about. But before we get there, we just have a few ends to tie up. And first of all, we have news about season 2, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has officially been renewed, and Marvel's Agent Carter has been officially picked up. It's coming back in the fall. Agent Carter is going to bridge the fall and spring halves of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're also moving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back an hour, so it won't be up against NCIS like it has been this season, so it'll be at 9/8 Central instead of 8/7 Central, which is what it's been this season.
I think this is great because it's a little bit more than just what it's going up against. It gets into a little bit more what they can actually show an hour later on primetime television, so they can get a little bit edgier. Basically, what I thought the beginning of the season until we got to Turn was an 8 o'clock show. What they showed after Turn was really a 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock show. And so I'm glad they're switching it to 9 o'clock, which means that season 2 will keep up the same sort of genre that we got after the Hydra was introduced. And so it's just going to get better and better and better. Woohoo!
Yeah, they can move from being a PG show to a PG-13 show, and I'm pretty all right with that.
Yeah, I think good things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So last week, Lauren, you talked about the big Batman versus Superman going up against Cap 3, right?
Yes, I did.
Well, we did a little research, and what'd you find out?
Well, it looks like my suggested dates for moving Batman versus Superman, they probably will not be moved to those particular dates because on boxofficemojo.com, you can find the release dates for as far out as 2016 and beyond. And it's already pretty packed. I mean, it's 2 years away, but let's see. In May, you have Captain America 3, of course. You have X-Men Apocalypse. June, Amazing Spider-Man 3. July, the 4th of July weekend and the 4th of July week in general. You have Angry Birds. You have Independence Day 2. You have Tarzan all on the same day. Untitled Marvel movie on July 8th.
So if they move it from May to the week after 4th of July, they're still going up against a Marvel movie.
And then if you move it a little bit later, in the middle of July, you have Ice Age 5. And so that's going to take all your kids away. But, as we saw from Man of Steel, it might not be, with Zack Snyder at the helm, it might not be such a kid-friendly movie anyway. So, you never know. We're also getting, I think it's Guy Ritchie's King Arthur towards the end of the month, and Untitled Planet of the Apes at the very end of the month.
That has the potential to be awesome, depending on what this next movie turns out.
Oh, yeah, I'm so looking forward to it.
Really happy with the first one. I see the second one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to even be better. Oh, fanboying out there for a second. So wherever you turn, they don't really have a great option. So they're kind of stuck doing something. Now, would I pick going up against Cap 3? I don't know. It depends on what they want to park after the 4th of July. So we'll just have to see.
If they wanted to do like more of a holiday release, typically you'd see that around like November, December. November, WB already has Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him, the new Harry Potter verse movie. So I wouldn't think they would really want to compete with themselves. They would want like an earlier in the year movie.
Plus, I don't think they can really sit on this for too long. They're going to have a lot of money tied up in this, and they're going to have to get some ticket revenue to help paying off the interest on all the money that they borrowed to make it.
Yeah, especially if you look at, if you consider this part of, I know it's not the Justice League movie, but if you consider this part of that, they've been trying to make a Justice League movie for so long. I read this book like last year about some of the greatest unproduced movies that have just become like movies, like money sinkholes. And there's mentions of like Sandman, of how many $1 million went into production of this, and it still hasn't happened yet. And Justice League was another one. And they're kind of in danger of this becoming another one of that.
Did you see the making of I think it was a Fantastic Four movie that never came out in the 80s?
Oh, no, I've seen clips of it on like YouTube. It's so bad.
Yeah, well, not the making of, the actual movie that they were trying to make was pretty bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen the making of it, no.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. They do a great documentary on the film that was never supposed to be released. They just went into production, I guess, just to keep the rights or something. I can't.
Yeah, it was not intended to be released. They just had to put it into production to keep the rights, if I remember correctly.
And I don't think we have anything like that today. So everything that's actually entering in production, you're expecting to see on the other side. Even if it's a direct-to-DVD release, which we have seen some pretty good movies, in my opinion, go direct-to-DVD lately. So it's just my opinion. So last week, we also talked about the shoot the dog moment. And we were all wondering, gee, what would Sean say? Is he going to continue watching? Because we never actually saw the dog being shot. I know there's big contention on the internet about the dog and who shot the dog and was the dog still alive, whatever. So, but our question was, is Sean going to stop watching because of the shoot the dog moment? Well, I asked him and he said, I don't watch a show. I said, well, did you stop watching the show because of this shoot the dog moment? He's like, no, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't watch the show. So there you go.
Womp, womp, womp.
So if you want to get on Sean for not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at Rev Sean O'Hare on Twitter, just go kick him, say, hey, you should be watching the show. It's great. See what he says. Okay. Also, we got a couple of voicemails this week. That's pretty cool. And we're going to save one for later, but we got a response on my comments about the stunt coordinator. So I'm going to go ahead and play that now.
Hey, agents. This is Adam. I'm just in the middle of listening to your podcast on Ragtag and found it interesting when you were talking about different stunt coordinators. You brought up stunts from Arrow and the Stargate franchise. One little thing that you may not have known is that the stunt coordinator on Arrow was also the stunt coordinator on Stargate Atlantis. Yeah, a bit of a different feel in the stunts and action scenes there, but there you go. Talk to you later. Bye.
First of all, Adam, thank you so much for calling. We really appreciate the feedback, really do. Just a reminder, everybody, we do have a toll-free voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871. Stunt coordinators. Yeah, that was interesting to know. I did not do any research into the stunt coordinators. I'm definitely going to take your advice and go look them up for next week. That sounds great. I did not know that the same crew has been involved in several different ones, and it's interesting that the same crew can actually have a different feel on it. So I wonder if it's a money thing, or if it's a tone that they're trying to go for, or if it's just they're changing up their style just because they want to try something new. So we'll see. You guys have any clue about stunt coordinators in Hollywood?
Not really.
I know that the stunt coordinator on SG-1 was also in the show. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's right. He was. He was one of the enlisted guys, wasn't he?
Sergeant Seiler, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, Seiler was the stunt coordinator. Oh yeah.
And I think he was Dean. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Richard Dean Anderson. He was Richard Dean Anderson's stunt double as well, I think.
That's funny. That's great. Well, it's nice to see a little bit of variety there. And then finally, we have our weekly, last one for season 1, ratings report by Agent Haley.
I am disappointed. The ratings are down from last week. We're at 5.45 million viewers. Sad day. Samuel L. Jackson doesn't bring in the ladies like I thought he would.
And it wasn't like they didn't promote either, because those guys, Clark Gregg, Samuel L. Jackson, they were all on the talk shows. I actually caught Clark Gregg on the Katie Couric show. I never watched Katie Couric, but it was just happened to be on as I was passing by the TV as I got home early and on Tuesday night, and I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Clark Gregg. What an amazing interview, by the way. The guy has screen presence no matter what he is doing or where he is. He just has incredible presence. We saw it in the Paley Fest. Well, Haley, you didn't see it, but I saw it on the Paley Fest panel. And the guy knows how to work an audience, but he comes across as genuine. He's not performing. At least that's how he's coming across. So it was great. And unfortunately, all that work translated into a 5.45. Boo-hoo. It was worth a lot more than that.
Well, I blame the voice. I really hate the voice. I'm not afraid to make controversial statements. You can quote me on that.
So, ladies, I sent you an email as we were preparing what we're going to talk about in the podcast. Do you guys remember what it said about this episode that I had in there?
All your email goes to my spam folder.
It had about 15 OMGs, 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 OMGs. This episode was fantastic. This is definitely my favorite episode.
Okay, I vaguely remember now.
We're still working Lauren out of the concussed state.
You're still working me out of the, oh my God, Manu Bennett. Oh my God, Manu Bennett.
You're still drooling, huh?
I'm still drooling.
Oh, this episode was amazing. Lauren, what did you think?
I loved it. The first time I watched it, it was kind of a good thing I was home alone because I have a tendency to speak to my TV and yell at it as it is, which annoys my husband because he thinks that I'm talking to him and then gets angry when I'm not. Which is, incidentally, by the way, why he didn't come check on me after I hit my head, because he thought I was yelling at The Walking Dead, which, in all honesty, was just as likely.
Who doesn't? I mean...
But anyway, I spent at least the last half of the episode just yelling things at the TV in happiness, in vindication, in oh no they didn't, in that did not just happen, in I knew that was going to happen, you know, just it was wonderful. And then the second time I saw it, it was mostly just laughing at my husband's reaction to things.
How many Lauren keyboard smash moments were there?
Oh, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I've just imagined
11?
Lauren 11. I'm imagining
12,
Lauren
12.
turning into Hulk Lauren and with big Hulk hands going, Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. bad, smash, 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 smash. Yeah, but it was good. I mean,
No, it would be more like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. good, smash, 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 smash.
Haley?
I just had to stop myself from writing Garrett crazy every time he was on screen because I really wanted to, but it would have filled my notes.
My favorite Garrett moment is after Fury has shot him at the Cybertech facility, whatever, and he gets up and he looks like the Terminator.
Yes.
With his head coming up like that. I'm like, oh, Bill, you are no Terminator, but okay. We'll run with it.
Something that I loved, speaking of Terminator, that Eric from Art House Legends pointed out on Twitter was that Bill Paxton got his start. His very first movie role was in Terminator, where he is a guy who gets like his guts punched out by a cyborg. And now he is a cyborg who killed another guy by not quite punching his guts out, but, you know, ripping out a rib and stabbing him to death with it is pretty close, right? So it's Terminators all around.
I saw one post that said that will forevermore be referred to as Paxtoning someone. If you rip their rib out and then stab them with it, that is
Fun
Paxtoning
fact,
them.
that guy, that general,
yeah.
I was like, this guy looks so familiar. Where do I know him from?
Uh-huh.
I have a power that my husband calls It's That Guy Foo. So he's Colonel Hendry in X-Men First Class.
Yes.
He's like every military guy ever. The guy's been in like almost 200 movies. He's in just everything.
I think he was like a general or something on The West Wing too.
He was in, oh geez, he's been in so much stuff as various military personnel. He was in the Transformers movies as like two different generals, by the way.
He tried to come off like as a commanding general, and it was like, oh, how dare you insult a United States Army general? Like, yeah, okay, what are you going to do about it, buddy? You just going to yell at him? I mean, come on. And then he gets his rib torn out from him and stabbed.
I thought he was going to get his head punched off.
Well, basically he did, but he's got a rib in it. That was awesome. Bill was cray-cray. Very much cray-cray in this episode. I mean, even Ward is like, John, hey, John, buddy, come on.
But he still wants to take orders from him.
Yeah, that's true. Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Oh, I so want Ward gone, but no, I heard he's in for season 2.
At least he can't talk now.
At least for now.
Where'd
he go, May? Oh, nailing his foot to the floor?
Have you seen
Nail Hydra?
Na's tweet? Yes, Nail Hydra. She's like, all together
now. One of my
Nail
favorite
Hydra.
things.
Oh man, May was on fire this episode. She was ready
you
to
were never on top. I love her. I want to be her when I grow up.
Did you work out all your feelings? Is he still alive?
She held some back.
Guess you held some back, yeah.
So when she kicked him in the head after nailing him to the floor, have you ever seen this movie called The Story of Ricky? It's known for being, it's this kung
Ricky
fu
Bobby?
movie. No.
Shake and Bake?
No, it's this kung fu movie from like the 70s. It's known for being just so over the top violent. It's most infamous for a scene where some guy gets punched in the head and his head just explodes like a watermelon. I was kind of hoping that when she kicked him in the head, his head would do that. It didn't happen, but for just a moment, I believed it would. I believed that she would kick his head into exploding.
We need a fan to get on this. I want that YouTube video. By next week.
You heard it, people.
We kind of got that moment, though, when Coulson finally took Deathlock Cyborg Garrett out at the end with the laser that he just found. Hey, guys, it's in here. Found it.
My note for that scene is blah, ha, 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 ha.
What was my note for that? It was...
Keyboard smash.
It was, oh, bleep ain't dead. Then bleep, he's another Deathlock. Ah, ha, ha, never mind.
That would have sucked. Yeah, I think they cut out a little bit of the scene, though, at least in the version I saw, because I think he was being taken out in a coffin, and he got out of the coffin and took out the 2 army dudes that were carrying him out or whatever, and all I saw was him crawling up into the chair. So I didn't see any of that before stuff. But yeah, if you would have seen that before stuff, I don't know if they even shot it or whatever, but and saw that, I would have been so angry. I'm like, no, of all the people, if Hand is dead and he comes back to life on this, no way, that sucks. And then Coulson finally gets him. That was great.
I love that. Also, speaking of Coulson, so the gun that Fury brings him.
The Destroyer?
Where did he pull that gun from?
Don't question it. Don't question it.
The toolbox.
In the words,
it was like in Tropic Thunder.
in the immortal words of either Sam or Max from Sam and Max. I think Sam. None of your damn business. But I used to play on Facebook Marvel Avengers Alliance. That gun was referred to as Coulson's Revenge.
Nice.
I've heard it. The gun actually has a name, and it's called the Destroyer, I guess.
I will forever refer to it as Coulson's Revenge, and not only because I kept grinding for weeks to try to get it, and never did because I was unwilling to shell out like the $20 it would have taken me to get it. Forever bitter.
Facebook games do not get real money.
No, they don't. They don't get my real money. No.
I mean, this episode was great. I mean, even Bill Paxton's line, "Ooh, tag team match against 4 dead guys." That was awesome. The whole thing. And like Fury's like, "Well, you didn't tell me he was this crazy." Yeah,
I am the key to the future of the universe.
I just loved how much Paxton was hamming it up. It was, I mean, yeah, it was kind of over the top, but it was just so fun.
It was. And he stayed in character the whole time because even before, when they were in turn, when they were just going through the whole thing, he was often misrepeating the sayings like the Hydra head thing and everything. So him getting Fury's one-man speech wrong was totally in character, and he's just, it was great. Although the one thing I will say is the way they shot that final scene, I doubt Sam Jackson and Bill Paxton were actually in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, they probably only had Sam Jackson for like maybe a day or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet they just kind of, went with what they had real quick.
If you're an actor trying to keep your character going in this Marvel Cinematic Universe or this Marvel Universe in general, and you see an opportunity to get your face out there a little bit to keep it in people's minds that, hey, I'm still Nick Fury and I'm in the Marvel Universe, this was excellent for him. I know he likes it anyway, but what a great PR stunt anyway. And I know this is going to get better play in the off season once they come out in whatever format, Netflix, Hulu, whatever it is. So it'll be great. I mean, this episode, it did have some things that had people scratching their heads, like the whole Berserker staff. What did May do with it and why?
She threw it down or something. I wish she kept
because she's
it.
that awesome. She can resist its siren song.
I was hoping she'd keep it and have it all next season and just be crazy badass with it.
the hate foo?
Yes, like super hate foo.
Right.
Oh, at one point, it was regarding the hate foo, when she does that whole speech, and I guess it was the previous episode, and she mentions, "I'm up at 5 every morning." My husband turned to me and said, "Oh, so that's why she's so angry all the time."
Yeah, Coulson's first line, well, it's not his first line, but one of his first lines in the episode is, he said, "So, who do we talk to about getting a haircut?" And then, Trip just starts firing. May reaches in and starts fighting. I think, remember that guy that did the 2-hand Hail Hydra salute? I think his name was Kowalski. I think.
Yes, it's Kaminsky. Kaminsky.
I think he was the one that said, "Well, if it isn't the cavalry." The last words you spoke, dude.
Yep. Oh, something that I noticed, and I noticed it more the second time I watched the episode. Did you notice that Coulson just seemed to get his calm groove back once Fury showed up? Like, if you notice in the previous few episodes, he's kind of desperate. He's kind of losing it. And then Fury shows up and he's back to, I don't know. He just seems calmer. It's like, oh, Fury's back. Everything's right in the world.
Everything's all right. Dad's here.
Yes, exactly. Except since he's Team Dad, does that make Fury Team Grandpa?
Crazy uncle, maybe. I seem to recall him giving the one-man speech in the plane on the way to Cybertech. And
yes,
he seemed calm then, and that was before Fury showed up.
It was a different kind of calm, though.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. There's something kind of intangible about it. It's just like a different presence, I feel like.
The interplay between Clark Gregg and Sam Jackson in wherever scene that they are playing together, whatever they're doing, it is amazing. The two men know how to work together. Even when Coulson is yelling at Director Fury and he's saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid," and Fury's just like, well.
And mean.
Yeah. And mean and stupid and stupid. And Fury's finally like, okay, you made your point. But he continues on and he basically calls Coulson an Avenger. That is awesome.
I teared up. I was so happy.
It's so true. I mean, we all think he is now. Even the Avengers think he is. That's why they came back together.
Yeah. I was so happy at that moment.
See, I think that's really what Fury was doing the whole time. He was making up for the tens of hundreds and millions of dollars that those vintage cards were that he just stained with blood. So he's like, oh, how do I make this up to Coulson? Well, I'll bring him back to life. I'll give him Lola. I'll give him the jet. I'll give him the team. I'll have people look out for him. Yeah, that makes up for the cards.
And a pony.
Okay, Lauren, we have to get a little somber here.
Yes. My science babies.
How did you get through that scene?
I cried. I'm not even going to lie. I was crying.
There are so many open-ended things from this episode, and Fitz is one of them, because we never see him afterwards. Now, I'm going to give my little theory that I just came up in like 5 minutes today, is that in the next season, they're going to use a blood transfusion from Coulson, which still has the GH325 in it, to hype up Fitz, and it will help his brain heal.
I don't know. I don't think Coulson would let that happen.
I don't think there's a high enough concentration.
No, maybe. It was just a 5-minute theory.
Yeah, I think they might look for some other way to help them. That might be kind of not the focus of the second season, but like maybe a side thing. Fitz might mad science himself, some kind of solution.
Oh, maybe. But, I mean, if he's...
I really hope Fitz doesn't mad science himself into being a supervillain, but...
Yeah, he's pretty close to it right now. You know, last episode I was talking about the technobabble, and we all were, and I said, we need more of it in the show, and they kind of tried it in the pod at the bottom of the ocean, and it did not work.
Yeah, one of the things I wrote, science babies, wouldn't the pressure have squished them by now? And then the next line, that's how. But then I was so distracted, I think I just wrote 5 lines of science babies, oh, science babies, but science babies. I did like that they addressed that if they went up that rapidly from that deep of a depth, they would have the bends, but then nothing came of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, they put Simmons in a tank.
Yeah, but...
They were both in a box.
You know, they were both in a box, but...
So I read an article on the Mary Sue, which was not very flattering about this whole episode. And one of the things that it wasn't very flattering about was the whole pod thing.
See, the pod thing I thought was one of the more I read the same review. I thought was one of the more plausible technobabbles that they've had lately, especially because I'm absolutely convinced that S.H.I.E.L.D. will eventually be in space soon, and that they are way too paranoid to not have something in space now that they know that there are aliens.
Yeah, they better.
Yeah, I'm fine with the idea of something that can withstand that atmosphere. And also we do know that we're pretty sure that Namor exists in the MCU.
Right.
So why not have something that can acclimate to deep sea pressures?
Yeah, and that was another thing that I was thinking of, the merman thing, whatever, or the Atlantean thing. You know, you take your pick. There are waterborne characters in the Marvel Universe. Why didn't one of them come and help save our little S.H.I.E.L.D. agents?
I was kind of hoping that would happen. We were joking about it. Honestly, what bothered me more than it's an adaptable pod is here's an oxygen thing I rigged up and one of us can survive. That bugged me more.
Okay, here's my way around that, all right? I know that it's precious little oxygen, but the thing is, you have to keep your lungs empty of water, right? And that's the main thing. So it's kind of hard to do that when the water rushes in really fast, and that's why they had the high pressure thing, whatever. There is such a thing as kissing to share air, and I wish they would have done that. They're smart enough to have remembered that.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We all saw Splash when we were kids, right?
Yeah, I did.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's another movie for you to go watch. It's actually a pretty good movie.
It is.
Anyway, Haley, did you have a favorite moment from this episode?
When May came in from the side of the screen to smash into Ward, that was pretty fantastic. And then she tried to punch him with a Cirque saw.
Yeah, that was awesome. I will say that Sky's ramp up to it and like, oh, that's not the weapon I've got. I've got something else. Oh, what makes her so special? Well, you slept with her and she's pretty pissed. And then boom.
I love that.
I liked Sky a lot in this episode. She seemed, I don't know, quippier than usual.
She's been better the last few episodes, I think.
Her pissed off at Ward is working.
It really is. I like that.
One Sky moment that it stands out to me in the episode here. that I had to go, is her final interaction with Mike. And they're standing up on the hill, and she's like, oh, Coulson told me to bring you in. And he says, you can hack into my systems whenever, you'll find me, but I'm not sticking around. And she doesn't stick to her guns or anything, or give him an encouraging thing beyond, hey, what you did for Ace. And I think that could have been a little bit better. I think she could have either have been a little bit stronger to bring him in, or she could have been a little bit more encouraging.
I actually liked that moment because them two meeting was the start of this whole thing on both of their journeys. So it was like she was respecting his choice. I liked that.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, Haley, to get back to your point with the whole combat inside a construction zone, they didn't waste any dialogue in this episode, because when they were going through the beginning moment when that guy was coming in and explaining that he was there because of the incentives program, he mentions that, oh, what's all this construction going on next door? And then you're like, well, okay, construction, I didn't see anything. But then, boom, May tackles Ward right into it. And so they get to play around with all the construction equipment, the circ saw, and the nail gun, which is still awesome.
I love that scene so much.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Awesome.
She was trying to get all the toes.
She got all the larynxes. Lauren, what was your favorite moment?
Oh, that is so tough. It would either be between May just completely owning Ward, or I told you it was here.
Yeah, the Wheaton-esque moment.
Yeah, I just loved that part, especially because it was just so fun. I loved it.
It was the best moment of the whole series so far.
That and the end when they get to
Billy?
The playground. Yeah.
Billy. Yeah, I was going to bring that up as my favorite one since you took the other one. Billy, the brother of Eric, who plays Call of Duty, big fan of Coulson, and still handing out lanyards.
Okay. I wanted to ask y'all's opinion. Brother?
LMD.
Life Model Decoy. Yeah.
Life Model Decoy.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how Life Model Decoys really work. I think they were actually brothers. But, I mean...
The personalities are too much the same, I think.
The speech that they gave was, like, exactly the same. Yeah. So...
I think there's a dozen bases out there, and all of them have a Koenig in there.
Yes! I would love that so much.
We're going to need another Koenig.
Have y'all seen this most recent season of Archer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I want it to be like the Kriegers.
Clones.
That would be fantastic.
Yes. We never find out what happened with them, or why he was cloned or anything.
What, the Kriegers?
Yeah.
Nazis.
Oh, yes. Have you seen the movie The Boys from Brazil?
No.
Okay, that's Krieger's backstory.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look that up though.
Like, it is literally Krieger's backstory. It's referenced in an episode.
Okay. I have a point to make about the lanyards, though. So, he goes through the whole spiel about everybody needing the lanyards. You'd think, at this point in time, that Coulson's team is vetted, right? Not so fast. Skye could be anything. We've postulated in Inhuman, and we see something at the end which kind of makes that a strong possibility. Simmons... She doesn't know why she's here. She has not really said, except for the Fitz, that she's not a Hydra agent, but who knows? And I'll go back to my whole Trip thing. He was Garrett's boy. So you never know. There is a possibility there.
Or it could be that Life Model Decoys are programmed to be fixated on lanyards.
I like lanyard.
Like, some people have foot fetishes, they have lanyard fetishes.
Could you take my lanyard? I'd like my lanyard back, please. I'd like my lanyard. If I don't get my lanyard, I could have burnt the place down. I'd like my lanyard, please.
Exactly.
I just bring the lanyard thing up because Haley liked it.
Lanyard.
Because it was fantastic. You get a lanyard. You get a lanyard. You get a lanyard.
Oh, the playground. Coulson, he can't sleep. And then, I don't know if it's because he sees what Garrett had etched into the bus's magnetically sealed door, or if it was activated just because he's getting a little bit, unstable now or whatever. But Coulson doing that whole weird etching on the storeroom wall. Wow. And he's supposed to be the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Well, remember, it was that whole thing about as long as the subjects have no memory of this, and as long as they're not aware of what's been done, they're okay. And now he knows.
Stupid, and cruel.
Yeah.
And stupid. Yeah, okay.
And also, I'm still not sure if he was completely awake in that scene. Like, he seemed a little bit like he was sleepwalking to me.
Yeah, kind of in a trance.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's going to remember doing it, if he's going to tell people that what does this mean? Or if they're just going to find it like, okay, who's the nut?
What do you think the symbol is? We were debating this after rewatching the episode, my husband and I.
I don't know if it's like a symbol or some sort of schematic for something.
Yeah, when he first started drawing it, my immediate thought is chemical symbol. But then he starts drawing a little more, and I started thinking, oh, it's an electrical schematic. And then he starts drawing it more, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is.
At the beginning, I thought it looked kind of like a flowchart.
And then talking to another friend of mine, we're both Stargate fans, and she was like, so now he's going all Jack and the Ancients?
I think this is his better chart that he was talking about last time. Lauren, that is an excellent callback to Jack and the Agents, where he has to actually go to the gray guys, and
there is nothing Cruvis with him.
And they and they suck his brain out.
Oh dear.
Again. Wow. Yeah, lots of possibilities. Apparently, there is a callback to it in episode 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at episode 4. We're going to try to find out whatever this reference is supposed to be, and who knows? It probably.
By the way, it's okay. I rewatched the last half season with my husband, who had not caught up. It is so fun going back and watching from right before we find out about Ward to right after, because there's so many double meanings there. Just rewatching every line of dialogue that he and Garrett have. It's just wow.
Yep. Yeah, we mentioned it before about when Garrett pulled Ward aside about Hand being the clairvoyant on the bus. And that obviously had a double meaning. There has to be, tons of double meaning. Tons.
Just innuendo and double meanings, and just Garrett was just so slimy and self-satisfying even then with his whole, the clairvoyant this and the clairvoyant that. And I can see, the whole time when they're in Tahiti, when they're going into that base, my husband was like, I don't get why they're doing this. And I'm watching, I'm like, no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, okay, you bring up a point, Tahiti. You brought it up, so that got me thinking. I actually wrote a list. There is a ton that was not explained. Who shot the dog? What is Sky? What is Reyna? What does Tahiti stand for? What does Track stand for? What does FISD stand for? Who's behind the Coulson Tahiti resurrection? Where are the S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy students? What's happening with Graviton? What's happening with that ice boy who I've seen referred to as Blizzard? Is Hand really dead? Where is Achille Amador? How is Agent Blake doing? S.H.I.E.L.D. is still labeled as terrorists, so what were those army guys going around getting all those guys together? I mean, they were working with Coulson's team instead of arresting them. I mean, tons of stuff that had just been left out there. Did I just blow your brains?
No, part of me's like, if we could go by a point-by-point basis, but then a bunch of those I just don't have answers for yet.
Yeah, there's no answers for anything.
A couple of them, though, on rewatch and specifically looking for this, I think I've sort of maybe narrowed down the possibility of what Sky is to two things. One is kind of a completely wild guess, because she was found in China, and because we know that they're going to bring Iron Fist in the show, she could be related to something or someone from Kunlun. However, the Hunan province is nowhere near the Himalayas, which is where Kunlun is supposed to be near. And the other possibility that upon rewatch has, especially given a lot of Reyna's dialogue, an increased probability is Inhumans, like we were talking about before, especially with the whole what will I become thing, exposure to the Terrigen mist and all that. The Inhumans were created by Kree experimentation, which could explain why she hasn't had such a bad reaction to the GH numbers that I can never remember. 325. I spent a while looking for mentioned Inhuman characters who had like mentions of like blood dripping from their hands or something like that. I didn't find that, but I did find a few who had powers involving liquid or matter rearrangement, things like that. Or they could just create a new character for the show, which would probably be the most likely thing. And also there's the fact that an Inhumans movie was optioned in, I think, 2011. And as of 2012, somebody asked about it in an interview and they said they were still working on it. I think they asked Joe Quesada about it.
Huh.
But yeah, the whole with Reyna, what will I become thing, and the whole preoccupation with becoming. And that's a huge thing with the Terrigen Mists, which is how Inhumans become inhuman.
I was going to ask about Terrigenesis.
Yeah, Terrigenesis is when somebody is exposed to the Terrigen Mists, they kind of mutate and they gain powers and it evolves them. And with the Haley, correct me if you know more than me, because I haven't actually read the Inhuman comics. Most of what I know is from other sources that kind of directly or indirectly mention them, or from poking around on Comic Vine today and yesterday. It kind of super evolves them, and regular humans can be changed through exposure to these. When after M Day in the Marvel universe, when most of the world's mutants were depowered, Quicksilver was one of the ones depowered, and he gained access to the Terrigen Mist through his ex-wife and got his powers back. The current Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, that's how she got her powers. And I think Quicksilver's daughter, Crystal, was born a regular human, but through exposure to the Terrigen Mists gained powers. Those are the ones I know for sure.
Well, it's going to be exciting next year with all this thing. And, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is going to have something to do with it. I think this whole Coulson, Garrett, funky etching thing, well, first of all, they both actually etch it in, right? Garrett uses the nail, and Coulson uses a switchblade, basically. So they're not writing it on table. They're writing it in stone, so to speak. And I have no background whatsoever to say, hey, this is why. I don't know that much about Krees. I don't know that much about Inhumans, but I'm going to have to start because next season we're going to learn a little bit about this stuff. We're going to learn a little bit about Coulson's going cuckoo and that sort of thing. And I really hope that Coulson doesn't go too far off the deep end because he's really needed right now, unless they bring back like Hill to take over or something. But I don't know. We'll see. I want one of those toolboxes. Haley, what do you think?
Which toolbox?
The toolbox that Fury gives Coulson.
Oh, the tiny little box.
Uh-huh.
You think it's bigger on the inside?
Oh, I absolutely think it's bigger on the inside. I think it's a little TARDIS.
Are you saying that Nick Fury is a Time Lord?
That it would explain a great many things.
That's why you can't kill him.
He just regenerates into a new Nick Fury. That's why he's black this time around.
I like that theory a lot.
You'll have to bring it up on Gallifrey Public Radio, Haley.
Okay.
Because the new Terminator is Matt Smith, and everybody's saying, or he's involved in the new Terminator movies, and everybody's saying, well, of course, they need a Time Lord, because they're talking about time travel.
To defeat the Terminator, you need the combined efforts of a gladiator, a Time Lord, and the Mother of Dragons.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, the one thing I like about Game of Thrones is you have 2 Sarah Connors currently on the cast. That is awesome.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, Cersei.
Yeah, I know. She was in Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I haven't registered Emilia Clarke as... Okay.
And they're going to someday decide they need an even younger Sarah Connor, and Maisie Williams will play her.
Yes!
And for her part, Linda Hamilton is coming on Defiance this summer. The season starts on June 19th, and she will play a crazy woman, which will be awesome. It'll be straight out of Terminator 2. It's great. I can't wait.
I loved her so much on Chuck.
Oh, yes. She was great as Chuck Bartowski's mom. What was her name again?
I have no idea.
Can't remember.
It's been so long since I watched Chuck, but I missed that show.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed that show until I saw the last episode, and then I was like,
get over it.
Done. It's like How I Met Your Mother. I'm done with both of them. The last episode screwed up the entire series. Come on, guys. Get it right.
That's what fan fiction is for. And that is why I love fan fiction.
Yeah, well, a lot of people use fan fiction to change the ending of Lost. And I've never seen Lost, but I've heard about the last episode, and I can see how it would ruin the whole series for you.
No, I think a lot of people misinterpreted the last episode, but whatever.
Yeah, speaking of fan fiction, I haven't even seen what's popped up after the finale. I need to set aside some time and dive into the Archive of Their Own, section on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and see what's popped up. I haven't been into that section since the Ward reveal. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious what all the fic looks like now, since at the time it was all like Fitz and Ward and Sky and Ward. And
well, there was a bunch of whispering Hail Hydra things going on. Aside from that, yeah, why don't you do some research, look into it, and we'll talk about it next time. How about that?
Yeah, you can actually find some very interesting sociological stuff regarding, fandom trends. But anyway, also you can find porn.
And, that's important.
It is.
And if you really want to delve into that, we have a podcast that you can go listen to.
Yes.
Not us, but we know of one. And as a matter of fact, a couple of our consultants would actually know a lot about it. In any event, let me be strong here, since we're talking about a little bit about Hydra here. Ward cannot be saved. He did too many bad things. He killed too many people just off the cuff. I don't want to see him resurrected. I don't want to see him saved. I really don't. He's misguided, made poor choices, can't think for himself. I don't want to see him anymore. He's just not a value-added character. He's not like Hilo on BSG, where you're like, okay, well, I could see how he's really right. No, he's not like that. He's just bad. He's not evil. Sky points out he's not evil. No, he's just stupid. Ugh, got that out.
Where do y'all see Ward going next season?
I feel like they're going to do something like, put a collar on him, or maybe give him one of the exploding eyes or something, and make him be part of the team. Use him as an asset. And it really annoys me.
Give him an exploding eye? That'd be awesome, actually.
I know, except he'd have to hang around.
Yeah, true.
And I was really hoping he'd die in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the reasons they keep him around is because he can give them some intel on Hydra, which I don't really think he knows all that much about Hydra, but anyway.
Yeah, especially given that whole "neither of us are true believers," right? thing, as if kind of confirming you're not seriously telling me I've been a Nazi this whole time.
No, it's a symbiotic relationship.
But I'm kind of continuing the Vader parallel from last week. Well, more of a Sith thing. I'm seeing him kind of either bust out, take over, become, the master, find an apprentice, maybe Fitz, I don't know, or have, hide someone in Hydra, bust him out, maybe think that he's more of a true believer than he really is, have him try to figure out where exactly he fits into things, whether or not that's as a bad guy or as somebody who can be redeemed, because I don't think he shot the dog. That remains to be seen. But I don't think if he becomes a good guy again, I don't think it'll be for a long time. And I don't think it'll be an easy path. And I don't think that there will be a lot of acceptance for him.
I don't think he shot the dog. However, he did shoot other agents point blank. And it's just, okay. I've seen some, and I've talked about this at work with some people, the comparison between Ward and Bucky Barnes. And I just cannot make that jump, because Ward knew what he was doing the entire time. Bucky had his mind wiped.
Exactly. I saw some people talking about this on Tumblr this week too. And yeah, Bucky had his mind wiped. Bucky was basically tortured for like 70 years. Ward knew what he was doing. Granted, he was kind of being shaped by somebody who was pretty twisted, but he still continued to make the choice, I am going to do this. He continued to choose the wrong side over and over and over again. He was given many chances to not make that choice, and he turned them down every time. It is not the same thing as Bucky at all. I have a lot of feelings about Bucky.
Wow. A lot of feelings, huh?
A lot of feelings.
So, if Bucky were to call you, maybe, maybe.
More in terms of he's one of my favorite characters since the Brubaker run on Cap. But yeah, that too. Sebastian Stan is very pretty as Bucky.
Is he Chris quality?
He's not quite a Chris, but
it's a different sort of quality.
I have to ask these things because, I'm into Sif and Agent 13 and
I think everyone is into Sif. I mean, my God, have you seen her?
Yes, I have. Awesome. I've also seen, what's her name? Alice, what's her name? That plays Carol Marcus on Star Trek. She's awesome, too. And Agent 13. I mentioned that before, didn't I? Yeah.
That's okay. I've
Once or
mentioned
twice,
Manu
maybe.
Bennett how many times so far?
So what character could Manu Bennett play in the Marvel Universe?
I was actually thinking about that this afternoon.
I think maybe Hercules.
That would be amazing. He's a little too short, though.
That's fine.
Could he play a Hulk?
But then you wouldn't see him that much.
yeah.
He would be all CG'd.
Well, I guess that's my point. He doesn't need to be CG'd.
I would kind of love to see him as the captain from Next Wave, just because I think that would be awesome. And seriously, if y'all have never read, okay, Next Wave can be read pretty much as a standalone. Go out there, find Next Wave, read Next Wave. 2 words, drop bears.
Drop bears?
Yes, drop bears.
Okay.
It's just trust me on this. You will thank me later.
Very well. Next Wave, got it.
Next Wave, NEXTWAVE, all one word by Warren Ellis. Trust me.
I do trust you. I will go. I will actually, I've been thinking about where to start here because I got to start reading some comics.
At the beginning.
You know, that's usually what we'll have to talk off air, but that's usually where I start. But all right. There were so many callbacks in this episode too, we talked about a lot of them. The laser from 084, the destroyer gun. I mean, they didn't try to sew it all up, but they did bring a lot together. And I talked about the list of stuff that hasn't been sewed up. So there's plenty of room to play here. The season 1, I don't think was as good as it was billed to be in my mind. But this last episode is good. And I have really, really high expectations now for season 2. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do know that I really want to see season 2 and I want to see it now. And we're not going to get to see it for a few months. So I'll just have to, get caught up in comics, I guess.
I can't argue with that at all. But that's mainly because I love comics, and I think everyone should love comics.
So let me ask you guys this. I think this episode is 3, 4, 5 times better than any other episode in the entire season 1. Am I really holding it up on that really high pedestal, or does it deserve to be up there?
I'm not sure I would say it's that many times better than any episode of season 1, but I would rank it in definitely my top 3.
Yeah, it is probably the best episode of the season. I don't think I'd say it's multiple times better than all the other episodes.
Alrighty. Do you guys have anything else in the episode?
I don't think so.
Oh, one thing. Ace in the Hole. Really?
Oh, that was awesome.
Really? That was a terrible pun.
The whole thing, we got to go find the dealer to get our ace in the hole, and Bob's your uncle.
That was a terrible pun. I expected better from you, Sky.
She could only give the lines that she's given.
I think she's been hanging around
Colson.
Coulson. She's starting to make dad jokes.
Okay, I will accept that as an excuse.
All right. Hey, I want to say something to our fans. Thank you very much for sticking with Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season. We've been through some pretty rapid and unexpected changes throughout the whole thing. You started with our consultants. That's what we're calling them now, Wing, Op, and Beef. And we've transitioned to what we have now. I can't believe I'm podcasting with 2 ladies that know more about comics than I am, but that's awesome. And it's great. So thank you very much for sticking with us. We do plan to be podcasting in the off season. So we're going to go back and look at some of the movies, maybe look at some comics, maybe do a combined rewatch of several of the episodes. It'll be exciting to go back and view them with the knowledge that we know now and see if we can't spot any more little Easter eggs that were in there that they knew would be referring to something later in the season. So we're going to be doing some stuff like that. We will be taking a couple weeks off here and there due to vacations, but for the most part, we should be with you every week. So thank you very much for sticking with us. You guys make us go. Really appreciate it. And actually, you know what, guys? We have one more voicemail. It's another one from Adam. Let me bring it up here. It's about this episode too. And hey, if you guys out there have any comments about the season in general or this last episode in particular, please give our voicemail a call. We really want to hear from you, hear what you have to say about it. We want to get your thoughts, and we want to have a dialogue here with you and hear what you have to say, like Star Saber here. So here we go.
Hey, agents, it's Adam again. I just got done watching the season finale. I was kind of worried that it would be a bit underwhelming after having seen the Arrow one, but it held its own pretty well. Really loved all the stuff with Fury, especially the battle with him and Coulson against Garrett and Deathlock. And by the way, I was right about Deathlock pretty much, Mike being pretty much the one to kill Garrett, but love that they brought back the Coulson special from Avengers with the references to Coulson's line when he used it on Loki, and also Fury's line, "You didn't tell me he'd gone this crazy." So, can't wait to hear what you guys think about it, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
So again, thank you very much for calling. We really appreciate the feedback, and yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the episode, Adam. We did very much so, as you heard. I love the lines that you pointed out. I haven't seen the season finale of Arrow. I am 17 episodes back right now, podcasting with Jay from Gallifrey Public Radio and consultant Wing. And so we're just on episode 7 of season 2 right now. It's going to take some time to catch up. So can't wait to get there. Try not to be spoiled. I think I have been spoiled on a couple things, but it'll be exciting to watch that. I think this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was definitely not in Arrow's league. But at the end, now I'm starting to see some hope. So I'm glad to have the hope. Do you guys have anything to say wrapping up season 1 real quick?
I'll just say that, most of Whedon's shows, with the exception of Firefly, do not have the strongest first seasons, but usually the second season they really hit their stride and it becomes awesome.
Agreed. Lauren, any last words before we sign off for the day?
I'll echo that. And also from @Famous on Twitter, she says, Coulson must redeem Hydra indoctrination for the good. I will agree, Coulson must redeem S.H.I.E.L.D's good name. I hope that's a lot of what next season is about, is redeeming what S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for, and that
protection.
Protection. That the show, now that I think it's found its feet with the last half season, that it kind of continues on its way and grows stronger.
Yep. So we'll be wrapping up any other loose ends from this episode and season 1 next week. We'll also be talking a little bit of Iron Man, one of my favorite Marvel movies. Hey, give us a shout out. Check all our contact information out on legendsofshield.com. You can find our emails, Twitters, Facebooks. Our voicemail line is there. And again, our voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871. We look forward to hearing from you guys. And if there's anything in particular you want us to discuss, give us a shout out and we'll discuss it. So with that, I'll be signing out now, and we'll see you next week. Stargate Pioneer out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you'll find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.